Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve about to react to this vid by O'Shea Duke Jackson. It's titled, "The Hodgetwins Will Never Recover from This L." Oh, Lord. What has happened now? Let's see what's going on with them. Let's watch.
If anybody knows about the Hodgetwins, you know they're two brothers. I believe Kevin and Keith. And they've been now right-winging it up, anti-Israel for about the last 5 or 6 years, at least on their channel. And they have a podcast in which they invite people. I believe they're in Las Vegas. And so when they invite people to their podcast, typically people will pull up. Now, what's important to know here is when you come to their podcast, you are paying your own way, all right? And this is exactly what happened with the amazing Lucas.
And they hit me up. I'm like, yo, what are we talking about? He's like, okay, we're gonna be talking about this. Let's get a date. I'm like, bet, right? I'm in LA, they in Vegas. So I spend time, I spend money to come to this podcast. There's me, the Hodgetwins, this other black guy, another black guy, and then this Arab, right, the Palestinian. And we're going back and forth, and eventually it's looking bad for them.
The amazing Lucas is an excellent YouTuber. Understand when I say excellent, he's like top notch. He was invited to go to this interview, and like he said, he noticed that it was them, it was some black people around, and then there was a Palestinian guy. I don't know if the Palestinian guy was working some level of sound or production, but he was there. And the amazing Lucas is a very smart guy. Like, he's very witty. I've heard him debate people live before. He'd be pretty tough for the average person to debate, especially somebody like the Hodgetwins. Got him! Who are really not that bright or creative or can really respond well intellectually to somebody on the same level as him. So, and this is the reason why he says he was getting the better of the both of them at the same time, which it makes sense because, frankly, the Hodgetwins are not very smart guys. They're just not. They don't articulate very well. They don't think their ideas through. And, they're just kind of like the black version of Jake Shields. But anyways, as the arguments are going, and the amazing Lucas was saying, hey, they had their facts off, they didn't know per capita, all these different things. The amazing Lucas comes to a certain point where he's winning the debate so much that this Palestinian guy starts to jump in because the Hodgetwins literally have no defense and they're kind of on the ropes. And then this happened.
But the first time, he was like, oh, we're all N-words, right, to the Jews. And I heard that. I'm like, what the F did you say, right? I get it. I'm not allowing someone to just say the hard R, right, in my presence. Now, no one else responded to it. The two black men that were sitting down didn't respond to it. They didn't. The twins didn't respond to it. I'm the only one. So I'm in a room full of soldiers, bruh. And they have this Palestinian. He talks about how he fled Palestine because of what was going on, and now he's with his family. He said to the Jews, we're all N-word. I'm like, you don't say that, right? I don't want to hear that word come out of your mouth, right?
So the N-word is thrown around, okay? So the amazing Lucas is like, wait, hold on, man. You can't use that word. Now, this Palestinian guy, his point of view is, oh no, what I meant to say is the Jews look at all of us like that, not just me.
So
that wasn't covered the first time. But in response to that, the amazing Lucas was trying to say, or he was saying, you shouldn't be using that word at all. You're Palestinian. That word does not belong in your mouth. And at a certain point, there was almost a physical altercation. The amazing Lucas was warning him, like, listen, bro, if you keep using it, it will be a physical altercation. And then, according to the Hodgetwins, well, no, it won't be a physical altercation. You're not going to be able to do nothing. And so it becomes a tense moment where, the amazing Lucas, even though he's defeating them in the debate, he's not really trying to fight them, but they have this disrespectful guy that is there that basically, is saying the N-word and being very disrespectful towards black people. And what is shocking to him is that the Hodgetwins are just sitting back idly by, letting him do it. Then the amazing Lucas, he reiterated about the low intellectual level of the Hodgetwins. Things about they didn't know per capita, they could not enunciate words, and he talked about that clearly.
Because they were asking, well, what do you think is the difference between us and you, right? Because they were trying, I think it was Kevin, he was trying to pronounce differentiation, and he couldn't pronounce it. He was like, what's the differentiation. I was like, well, one is that I can pronounce differentiation.
Oh, yeah, they're not gonna really.
Yeah, that was what's the difference? That was pretty funny there, and I don't think that he's lying about this at all. Because if you've ever heard the Hodge twins, like they really have a hard time enunciating words. They really have
they're not
a hard
very
time putting
intelligent at all.
ideas together.
Which is so interesting that they have this podcast and they have so much to say. But they don't have much knowledge to share, so it's wild, and it just goes to show that their platform is strictly based on hate.
Intellectual gap between the both of them. There again, I'm not trying to be mean, but these guys are just not smart at all. You know, they can make money online. They can probably, regurgitate the same things. But the Hodge twins need to have a podcast in which the opposite person is an echo chamber. They are not going to do well with anybody who has fresh ideas, anybody that they have to push back on in real time. They're going to struggle. And they probably were struggling with somebody as bright as the amazing Lucas. And they probably were struggling, all right? So because the podcast goes back on track and, the Hodge twins are having a hard time containing the amazing Lucas, they're talking about case studies, they're talking about different examples, and the Hodge twins cannot respond. You also hear the same Palestinian guy begin interrupting the, podcast again, right? So the amazing Lucas focuses his attention towards this guy, and this happened.
And that's when I was like, okay, this is borderline retardation. You're telling me because you get to fly, TSA doesn't impact your life. And it's like, it obviously does impact your life. What are you talking about?
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Yeah, I was just awestruck by the level of stupidity that was on display. And it came to racism, right? Because I brought up the study where it talks about, hey, there's a father in the household, that, there's a mother in the household, they live in an affluent neighborhood, right? They're good income, that one of the factors that will determine if the child will go to prison, okay, is the racial bias of the people around them, racial bias of the white people around them. They lose it. Oh, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. I'm like, you can look it up. What are you talking about? Then this fool starts interjecting whatever. I was like, why don't you shut the F up? Like, that's what you need to do. Shut the F up. So he says something like, blah, 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 F and N-word.
What did you say?
I'm like, that's when I get up.
Oh my God.
That's when I get up. I said,
That's not surprising that those are the type of people they have around them. That's crazy.
You say? I said, what the F did you say? The Hodge twins get up. They're like, hey, why are you going towards him, man? Why you getting in his face? I'm not getting in his face. I'm asking him a question. I said, I'm asking him, hey, what the F do you say?
They are Uncle fucking Ruckuses. Are you serious? So the white guy calls him hard ER, and y'all jumping up in the white guy's defense and be like, no, you ain't gonna do nothing to him. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Got the Hodge twins in front of me, right? The dynamic is insane. I got two black men, right, in front of me protecting a pale Arab Palestinian who had just called me a hard R.
Again, he challenged this guy about the use of the word. Now he's using this as an insult towards the Muslims, which before he's saying, well, that's just how they view all of us. But now he's using it to his advantage. And again, he's shocked that the Hodge twins don't have anything to say about the behavior of this Palestinian host. And what do? They say, hey man, relax, it's just a word. Now, again, this is where the conversation gets deep. And I kind of really want to stick with it here. We can talk about other stuff that happened in the podcast, but the main idea was this. The Hodge twins, who say they want to see black people do better, invite this black person. This brother flies from the Los Angeles area to Las Vegas. He pays his own money to participate on their podcast. I mean, again, this is what you get, right?
Oh, flights are cheap as hell right now, y'all. If you are in LA, you flying to Vegas, I just bought a flight. It was $25. I mean, I paid for some upgrades, so I paid a little more. But the baseline economy flight from LA to Vegas one way, $25. I was like, oh, on it. Because I'm flying to Vegas to be with my family for Thanksgiving, and $25 flight.
Black people need to do better in business. I mean, you're inviting this person to your podcast. You know, he's spending his own money to come to your podcast. You're not trying to do anything like convenience him or anything like that. I mean, they have the money to fly this person out, but they don't want to because they want stuff for free. But then sit around and talk about the dysfunctional behavior of black people in the black community.
I don't know if it's $25 still. That was a few days ago I bought that, so.
You know, you're doing the same thing. You guys have millions of dollars. This guy has an opposition or opposing view to what you're thinking about. You guys can't even fly the guy out, put him up in a nice place, you know, and just make sure that things go in the right way. Not only that, you have a racist Palestinian man that is there interrupting the podcast, which would make the host feel uncomfortable. But yet you do not feel that that's important. And again, if that was somebody white or somebody like Jake Shields, he would have never allowed it to happen, all right? But he did allow it to happen. And then he's also telling him, hey man, you know, chill out. It's just a word, bro. It's not that serious. Like, you don't have to really get all upset. You know, don't let these words bother you. When in fact, you know, if you call somebody the N-word, that person is trying to inflict pain upon you. That's what they're doing. And they're only doing that because they don't have a response. They don't have
those are fighting words. What you mean?
You're talking about. And clearly, the amazing Lucas felt that he was there defeating whatever the Hodgetwins had as an opposition or opposing view. And because of that, you had this Palestinian guy who should not have been in the conversation anyway, jumping into the conversation. And the Hodgetwins are defending his right to disrespect this black guest who spent his own money, flew himself out there, bought his own food, bought his own housing, and then you have this guy, because obviously you're going to monetize this video, you're going to make money off this video. You have this guy who has nothing to add to this conversation, but he's able to go ahead on and throw out these particular shots.
He's right, you know.
But then somehow the podcast seems to get back on track, and then again, they're talking and arguing, and then one of the Hodgetwins says this.
Why don't you care? You should care, right? And he's talking ill about black people. That's when Keith, no, not Keith, because Keith was on this side, Kevin. That's when Kevin comes out and says, I don't care about black people. I was like, there we go. There we go. All right, glad you said it. I'm glad we got that on camera. He straight up said, I don't care about black people. And then he was like, and then he heard what he said. And then he was like, wait, let me clarify. Let me clarify. I don't care about any race.
So one of the guys says, I don't care about black people. Then he tries to fix it and say something different like, oh, I don't care about anybody. Let me just say this.
Kevin has always been the dumbest one of the two. I mean, they're both dumb, let's be clear. But Kevin especially dumb.
These guys shoot themselves.
He's the goofy looking
one. And I get it. That money over there with the white right,
he the one on the left.
Pretty easy and pretty good to get. I can just imagine because, you know, the Hodgetwins are not that bright. It's not like they're innovating anything. You know, they're not bringing anything new to the market. All they do is those little dusty reactions, a podcast, you know, kind of offending Jews, offending blacks. I mean, it's very rudimentary. You can tell that they have not put any intellectual framework into what they're doing. And so now they don't want to release, you know, the video. And this is why he put up this particular post on the 20th. Hodgetwins interview nearly ended in a brawl. Yes, some of you know what soldiers in real life, they have a white Palestinian calling black people hard R's, and they think it's funny. Still waiting for the interview to be out just to see how much they edit. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Jason.
Wow, this is really sad, but none of this surprises me. Like, look how they carry themselves online. They've said a lot of hateful, anti-black things in the past, and it's so sad because they hate themselves. And you have to think about their black family members. What do they think about this? Like, you're up here defending this non-black man who's using the N-word, hard R, okay, on one of your black guests, and you're like, oh, leave him alone. You're not going to do nothing to him. It's just a word. Huh? So you'll let him call you that? It sounds like he calls you that, and you just are like, okay, it's just a word. This is so embarrassing. Jesus Christ. It's so sad that this is what they've turned into. And, you know, somebody called me a sellout. And then, you know, not so long ago when I reacted to one of their other videos, because they were like, oh, you used to always react to them and laugh at their vids, and look at you now. Okay, they were not coons back then, or I didn't see that they were coons. You know, I was laughing at them talking about going balls deep You know, and I was laughing at, you know, their random silly content. But obviously, things change when they are talking like this. And now I got some shit to say. Now I'm gonna shit on them and talk shit. What's up? What about it? I'm gonna do that with literally anybody. If J. Cole came out and he started, you know, being on some anti-black shit, I'm gonna shit on him as well. Anybody that you see that I like or that I show an interest in, that I laugh at, that I enjoy their content, if they come out to be a coon or to be a misogynist or whatever the case, I'm going to shit on them and I'm gonna have a negative opinion of them. That's how that works when you get new information. How is this surprising? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, not surprised by this. Y'all let me know what y'all think though, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.